Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Thank you for joining me once again. And look folks, in the past couple of days, we've certainly seen the Republican attacks on President Biden and his age ramp up. They're really trying to hammer home this point that they think that Biden is weak or senile or whatever buzzword they're trying to use that day. But unfortunately for the Republicans, their attacks are totally backfiring right now. Even Fox News is admitting it. So, I mean, we've all seen the Republicans say that President Biden's too weak, he can't do the job, all this garbage, right? But the argument that they're making has been totally destroyed recently because in the past 5 days, President Biden has been traveling all around the continent of Asia for the G20 and also to meet with leaders in different Asian countries. He's been jet lagged, he's been having meetings, he's been doing all this work, and it's like, really? This man you claim to be weak is just traveling incessantly. I mean, he's all over the continent and he's doing all this work. Is that someone who's weak? And as I mentioned earlier, even Fox News is admitting that President Biden is doing a lot of work right now, that, you know, he's traveling, he's staying up all night. And let's take a look at this clip of White House correspondent for Fox, Peter Doocy, talking about Biden's work the past couple of days. Here you go.
He has been basically working all through the night, the equivalent of an all-nighter Eastern time. So he's probably pretty tired, pretty jet-lagged, but he has been...
Did you see him pause at the end there? He realized, oh crap, I just debunked my entire network's arguments against President Biden. Like, even Peter Doocy, one of the most disingenuous reporters who has access to the White House, is saying, yeah, President Biden has been working all night. He basically pulled an all-nighter given the time zone that he's on, which is the East Coast. That's not someone who's weak. That's not someone who's frail. That's not someone who can't do the job. That's someone who's working for the American people and staying up all night to do it. And on top of this, just to provide more perspective for what President Biden is doing right now, this is a roundup of his last day in Vietnam. At the time of recording this, it was 10 a.m. on September 11th in Vietnam, where Joe Biden's already a couple hours into the fifth day of his around the world trip to India and Vietnam. So it's already late at night there for his, obviously his time zone. And he's still working, he's still having these meetings, and this person goes on to say he's now embarking with the help of the International Dateline on a 30-hour marathon on Monday, which includes 6 meetings in Vietnam, a 10-hour flight to Anchorage, Alaska, where he'll be commemorating the 22nd anniversary of 9/11, and then another 7-hour flight to Washington, D.C., where he's going to land around midnight. And as you can see from this map down here, he's traveling across the world. He's flying halfway across the world to get back to the United States. He's having these meetings. He's doing all this work. He's arriving back home to the White House very late at night. Is that someone who's weak? Is that someone who's frail? Is that someone who can't do the job? I mean, can you imagine Donald Trump trying to do this? Can you imagine Donald Trump trying to operate with this schedule? He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Biden is traveling more than any of the current Republican presidential candidates, and they only have to travel within the United States. He's doing more than these people, and their entire argument of their campaign is Biden's too old. Clearly, his age is not affecting his ability to be president. And one more thing on President Biden's trip, which actually does involve his age. The Vietnam General Secretary complimented President Biden on his age, saying, "You have nary aged a day, and I would say you look even better than before. Every feature of you, Mr. President, is very much complimentary of your image." He then went on to say later, "Can we please stop talking about President Biden's age?" Right? So we have world leaders on the global stage saying, like, yeah, what are you guys talking about? President Biden is obviously fine. Like, what are these crazy Republicans in America talking about? I'm working with this guy, I'm operating with this guy, and clearly he's fine. Right? So the picture that is actually the truth is far different from the picture that Republicans paint. And the fact of the matter is, nobody that works with President Biden, no White House aides, no former cabinet officials, nobody has ever come out and said, yeah, President Biden's not fit for the job. You know, his age is a problem. It's hindering his ability. But you know what's funny? Donald Trump's people have said that about him, right? Former cabinet officials of Donald Trump, people who have worked with him, people who have been around him, have said, yeah, this guy is not serious. Like, he cannot do the job of president. So it's just ironic how Republicans are like, oh, Biden's age, Biden this, Biden that. But they don't even focus on the fact that, you know, you have so many people within the Republican Party being like, Donald Trump cannot be president. He's too dangerous. And look, last thing on the age, because I think this is a very important point. This topic, President Biden's age, is a manufactured issue by Republicans. It's made up, right? Republicans cannot attack President Biden on policy, right? He's invested in veterans. He's lowered healthcare. He's made the largest investment in fighting climate change ever. He passed historic gun regulation, infrastructure, all these policies that Americans support overwhelmingly. So Republicans can't attack him on that because they know it's a losing issue. They know that the majority of the bills he's passed has been with bipartisan support. So they can't attack him for that. So they're thinking, what do we do? How can we attack President Biden? So they make stuff up. They attack his age, they attack his son, they attack his family. And this age is yet another manufactured issue that they think that they've been able to convince many Americans is an issue. And it's unfortunate because there's not a single insider source who's worked with President Biden who's been like, yeah, like this guy is not fit for office. As a matter of fact, it's the opposite. Plenty of people have spoken anonymously about how sharp President Biden is. And again, I posed the question to Republicans, how can President Biden be sleepy, but also doing this insane amount of travel? Like truly, I think that anybody who's experienced jet lag and these long flights would know that they're draining. They really take it out of you. They make you insanely tired. Now imagine doing that, your own experience, but then add like 20 meetings on top, different leaders you have to talk to, different briefings you have to receive as President of the United States, and then of course, factoring in travel. That's a hard schedule. And the fact that President Biden is able to do that and then get up at a press conference while being awake for 24 hours, to me, is very impressive. Very impressive. And the fact of the matter is, the American people see right through it. They see through the attacks that the Republicans are pushing on President Biden, because when we're seeing Biden do trips like this, it completely destroys any narrative that they've tried to create about his age. So truly, it's been very funny to watch these past couple of days how these Republican arguments are just getting destroyed in the media. Even Fox News is saying that, yeah, President Biden has been working like nonstop. So anyway, folks, just keep this stuff in mind next time you hear a Republican say Biden's too old. It's like, really? Do you really believe that? Thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate all of you. The support has been amazing, and I cannot thank you enough. But that's going to wrap it up for today. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really, really helps. And folks, once again, thank you for watching, and I hope to speak to you soon. All right, see you, everybody.